Does your hair get very dry quickly after wash day? Does your hair sometimes come out in the shower like this instead of maybe in full strands? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then you may have high porosity hair. But do you actually have high porosity hair, or do you think you do? Let's find out. What's up curlies, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kiki, and if you are new here, I do all things curly hair tips, product reviews and styling. In today's video, we're going to be touching on the topic of high porosity hair and finding out whether you really do have high porosity hair, or maybe it's something else, which I will let you in on a little bit later. So let's get into it. So what is high porosity hair? Porosity refers to the hair's ability to absorb and retain moisture. We have three different types of porosities: high, medium and low porosity hair. High porosity hair's cuticles lay wide open, which means that water gets into the hair shaft very easily, but it also is let out just as easily. And this can be a problem when it comes to retaining moisture and having overall dry hair. Once upon a time, you may have considered yourself to have normal porosity hair, but due to some changes in maybe the environment, or you're using heat, or you're colouring your hair, that hair may now be high porosity hair instead. And all that means is that the hair is more porous and it is more susceptible to damage and breakage, which is a huge problem when it comes to maintaining healthy hair. So what are some of the characteristics of high porosity hair? High porosity hair actually gets wet very easily. Due to the cuticles being wide open, it lets moisture in very easily. So when you hop into the shower on wash day, you're probably one of these people that finds that your hair gets wet almost instantly when you hop into the shower. Another one of the characteristics going alongside that is that it dries very quickly. This could be when you hop out the shower and you have no product, it starts to dry almost instantaneously, or that after your wash day, when you have put your moisturizing products on your hair, you're finding that you're needing to moisturize every single day, which is, if I'm being honest, not completely normal, because you shouldn't need to moisturize every single day. If you're doing a really good job of shampooing and conditioning and maintaining overall health of your hair will retain some moisture for at least a day or two. Another one of these characteristics is that high porosity hair tends to be frizzier than other hair porosities. Now this is a little bit of a confusing one, because generally if you do have coarser or coilier hair, it will be frizzy anyway. But in terms of high porosity, I'm talking about curl clumps and definition. If your hair is more high porosity, then you may struggle to get definition, you may struggle to have your curls clumped together, and they may be what I like to call stringy curls, and they will look something like this. I saw my hair change porosity dramatically when I did dye it, and I had a lot of blonde highlights in my hair. I had what you would call this more frizzier hair texture, and I'll insert a picture just so you can see for reference what I mean by a more frizzier hair texture. Now my hair normally does get some good definition on it, and I do not struggle to get curl clumps when I use a styling product. But when it was blonde, I did really struggle for my curls to clump together. Another characteristic of high porosity hair is that it gets tangled very easily, and this is more due to the fact that it is dry and it gets dry easily, therefore it gets tangled up easier than normal porosities. And high porosity hair tends to look very dry in appearance. It rarely looks shiny, that kind of nice shine that you see on low porosity and medium porosity hair. High porosity hair will tend to look a little bit duller in appearance. And the last characteristic is that it absorbs products very easily. Now this is a positive, but as I mentioned before, as fast as it absorbs product, it also dries out very quickly. So let's get on to the actual meat of this video. Why do you not have high porosity hair? So as I mentioned before, you may not have been born with high porosity hair, because porosity can change over time, and this is a fact. Some people may have been born with maybe medium porosity hair, and due to the fact that they colour their hair or they use heat on their hair and straighten it, it now may have changed porosity to a higher porosity type. And with that, it doesn't mean to say you are now high porosity and that is it for the rest of your life. If you went back to growing the colour out and you went completely natural, didn't use any heat or maybe straighten your hair would go back to that normal porosity hair type over time. And high porosity hair is essentially that little bit more damaged hair than low porosity and medium porosity hair. It doesn't mean to say it is damaged, but it has had more alteration to the actual hair cuticle due to the fact that it has had some sort of manipulation or heat or chemical process being placed upon it, making the hair cuticle wide open. Therefore, it is that little bit more damaged than other hair types. That doesn't mean to say you cannot have healthy coloured hair. More often than not, coloured hair is definitely more high maintenance and harder to get into that healthy state, especially if you are lightening it using bleach or anything like that. Not so much going darker or maybe something a bit closer to your hair colour, but definitely when you are lifting the colour out of your hair, you will get some sort of damage, which is going to have an impact over time on the porosity of your hair. And not only colour and heat processes can change the porosity of your hair, it is often that you may have more low porosity hair towards the root of your hair, and then towards the mid-lengths and ends of your hair, it becomes a little bit more high porosity, and that is completely normal because this hair at the top is fresh new growth. It is almost untouched hair, and this hair has just lived a bit more life than the root of your hair. So naturally, this part will be a little bit more high porosity than the root of your hair. I do know, speaking from experience myself, the root of my hair is a little bit lower than the rest of my hair, and that is completely normal. If you do have high porosity hair, I do recommend you really focus on deep conditioning and you do a lot of low manipulation styles to make sure that you are not damaging your hair further if it is in a crucial state of damage and repair. I do have a lot of product recommendations for low, medium and high porosity hair on my Amazon storefront, so make sure you check the link below if you're interested in seeing some of my favourites for your different types of hair porosities. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you click the thumbnail at the end if you're interested in the flip side of this, where I discuss all things low porosity and the fact that you may not have low porosity hair, and I will see you in the next video.